I started at a young age, always hustling, wanting to make money. Never did very well in school. I wasn't very good on tests and studying and doing stuff. Just started at the bottom and just worked my way up, always hustling. When I was like 6, 7 years old, I was like finding grasshoppers and trying to sell them to farmers. And early on, I just learned about guerrilla marketing. People want deals. People didn't care what they were buying. If you watch my video, even when I just won $1 million, in December of last year, I don't go around bragging. It's not like, look at me. Like some of these slot guys are trying to, wear expensive things or show off every time a new pair of shoes for $1,000 or, I always learned a long time ago. Anybody that has to tell you how much money they have has none.
How do you see like long form versus short form fit into your world? Welcome to the Mindful Leaders Podcast. Today's episode, we have a gambling pro, the Big Jackpot. Super interesting conversation. We talk about how he goes out and gambles money and somehow makes a profit. We talk about how he made $1 million on an individual live stream. Real time, he was live streaming. He pulled a slot machine and won $1 million. We talk about how he was known in his previous life, before he started his gambling social media page, as the Spam King, where he got sued for hundreds of millions of dollars from different states and got sued by Microsoft, and how he was sending hundreds of millions of emails and reaching out to people through spam email. We also talk about how he created affiliate.com, an affiliate marketing network that he blew up, and how he transitioned from all of that to what he's doing now, pretty much gambling for your entertainment. Let's go ahead and dive into today's episode with Scott Richter, aka the Big Jackpot, aka Raja. Scott, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, dude, you have like the most notorious. I think your Wikipedia. If you look at like most interesting Wikipedia profiles, period, in the world, you probably like have one of the most interesting. From just your story and then now what you're doing, it's just a wild journey.
Yeah, it's a lot of changes.
Go from being in the business world, and I mean, you got slapped with a lawsuit for hundreds of millions of dollars, and now you're crushing it in like the slot world. So
yeah,
dude, just catch me up. Like, what the heck has your life been about, and how did you end up here?
Yeah, so it's been a crazy life. Like I started at a young age, always hustling, wanting to make money. Never did very well in school. I wasn't very good on tests and studying and doing stuff, but just started at the bottom and just worked my way up, always hustling. When I was like 6, 7 years old, I was like finding grasshoppers and trying to sell them to farmers in the neighborhood. I grew up in the mountains, and then as I got older, I got into like lemonade stands and trying to make money on when I was 10, 11, on the weekends. Then I started doing vending machines when I was like 15. I started with little gumball machines. By the time I was 20, I had like 5,000 gumball machines. I had a couple of hundred pool tables, jukeboxes, a couple of thousand video games and movie theater chains all over the country. Just always hustling and trying to do stuff. And then stumbled into the whole restaurant business. Started my first restaurant when I was 20, Great Scott's Eatery. And then I had my first bar when I turned 21. Had a couple of
It's like
bars.
Great Scott, like Back to the Future Great Scott.
Yeah, so I just named anything after. I don't know. I didn't think I named it after myself. Maybe I did. I don't know. But it was like Great Scott's Eatery, and it was like eat at Scott's, join the fun. The party's just begun. So it was a good time. And then when I turned 21, I got my first bar. And the other thing I did is I was always buying all the properties. So this is you have to go back 30 years ago. 32 years. So it was a while ago. It was a lot easier to do stuff. Building departments were a lot more lenient. So all the properties, and it was kind of, we were probably at, a depressed time in the economy, and a lot of these buildings I was buying for 10% down, $135,000 to $200,000 buildings, put 10, 20 grand down. I opened them up, remodeled them for less than $10,000. They looked like dumps. And, every dollar I made, I just put into my business. I just every dollar, came in. All my tables were all busted up or something. I'd have picnic tablecloth on and make them look nice, and mix match silverware. And as I made money, I nice new tables. You get matching silverware. New signage, new decorations, and everything. Like I said, every dollar I made, it went back into my business. I didn't save a dollar. I mean, it's saving, but it's just kept investing back in and more real estate, buying stuff, and I was working 18, 20 hours a day. It was nuts. I'd get up at 6, 7 a.m., have the restaurants, my vending machine companies, and, taking care of stuff, driving all over. By the time I was 22, I had 4 restaurants, 2 bars. It was keeping me hopping. The restaurants were 24-a-day family restaurants. I'd have to always be out there taking care of them. I get home at 2, 3 in the morning from the bar rush, and get to bed, and they'd be calling 6 in the morning. A cook didn't show up, and I just did it all. Like if I had to cook, wait tables, work the counter, do dishes. I didn't care. Like I was there. I just put my time in.
So at what point did you evolve from that and go into like internet marketing and?
Yeah. So actually at the, so kind of like in, early 2000s,
Early
1990s.
1900s.
Yeah. Late 1999, 98 and early 2000s, the internet kind of started coming around, and AOL dial up and everything. And, as it was advancing, I said, I would watch CNBC, and I was always stock trading and option trading my whole life. And I was like, this is pretty interesting. I've always, and I was like, what could I sell online? What would be the business? So the first business I got into was pagers. It was called Page It Now. And, now probably a lot of people watching your podcast wouldn't even know what a pager is if they're 20 years old. But people who are in their 30s, 40s, definitely their 40s or 50s know what pagers are. And it was kind of like right when pagers were kind of like the evolution of pagers, kind of like before cell phones. I mean, 'cause I don't even know if they didn't have smartphones at this time. And it was pretty cool. And my whole thing was I could buy these pagers basically for like $20, $30 each. I prepay for the service for the entire year for like $3 a month, $250 a month, $36. And I was basically just selling you a pager for $99 for the whole year service. And then, the whole idea was you'd renew with me, and I was going to have, thousands and thousands of pagers, and I was building up this brick and mortar business. Well, all of a sudden the pagers for the first 30 years of life was a little black box with, 9 numbers on top that when somebody would page you, and there was no text, there was no messaging. Well,
And it was a phone number that would pop up?
It's just a phone number. Like somebody would text you with a number to call. Like it's like this person's calling you, or it was very primitive.
It was like, call this number, basically.
Yeah. Just touch, this number in. And then all of a sudden the flip pagers came out, and pager technology kind of like how cell phones have evolved year after year. The pager kind of like had this big boom from a little black, box that just had a number on top, or, a simple message to, you can flip them open, two-way paging, talk back to the person now and communicate. So I went from like this simple business where, my whole thing was like, if I could just, kind of like Southwest Airlines, we're only going to buy one style airplane, and, that way we can have our parts. We don't have to have 10 different, plane parts. We don't have to, like, everything's the same. And that was my whole goal with the whole pager business. And then it was to build a business with recurring revenue, because, the restaurants and, bars and, are recurring revenue, but if your business is slow this weekend, or you have a blizzard outside, you're not making any money. If you have a paid customer, you're always making money. So it started with that, actually grew, was doing really well. The problem was you had a lot of customer service issues. People would complain that the pager didn't work. They lived in a basement behind a metal wall or a tree. Who knows? It's just like cell phone service today. How can we put a man on the moon, communicate, get live pictures, but we can't get a cell phone to work in our neighborhood? I mean, it's the same premises, same thing. Pagers
allegedly get a man on the moon. We don't could have been in the desert in Vegas somewhere, but
yeah. But the pagers work. Locations plus just customer service. Something that didn't work, you have to swap it out. People just didn't know how to use the pager. So that was my first thing, and it was going. I sold them, and I was kind of like, this isn't going to be long term. So I looked for other products online. So I got into.
You just dropped the business, or?
Yeah, I just stopped selling them. So people who wanted to renew, I'd renew, but it faded out over like 2-3 years.
How were you selling them? Like door to door?
No, just online. So it was pageitnow.com, and people would go online. I would.
But how would people find the site?
Oh, first it was door to door and at my restaurants. I just had like a little thing at the restaurants, and people would come in, so I just sell them at the counter. Like an upsell and stuff. So,
what you really need with that steak is you need a pager.
Yeah, but yeah, that was my biggest.
Was that the order bump in the restaurant?
Yeah, but yeah. So then I stumbled on the whole internet, and I saw this. I was like, there's this big opportunity here. So I started like SaveRealBig.com, and I was like, what kind of products could I sell? And then I started some diet products. So the first thing I started was diet. And I learned early on in marketing that it's not about the quality of the product that you're selling. Later on in life, that becomes important. But in early on marketing, guerrilla marketing, it doesn't matter what you're selling. It's about the product. And my first thing was a diet product, and it was called Inferno. Probably a total garbage product. I don't know. I mean, I didn't really even care at the time. I wasn't thinking, this is 30 years ago. I wasn't thinking about health or benefits. I wasn't thinking about the FDA or anything like that. I was just like, I went to a manufacturer. I said, so you'll produce this bottle for me for $5. I'm going to sell it for, $29.95. And this is going to be great, And then I was like, got online, and I put up my webpage, and I was like, all right, let the orders come in. And nothing happened. And I was like, what's going on here? I thought, you put up a website, like I'm watching CNBC every day, and this company is worth $1 million, $10 million, $20 million. They just launched the site and they're doing all these sales. I'm like, I don't get this. I bought my domain name. I did everything I watched on television. Nothing happened. I said, how do I get traffic? So I, spent more time online researching, and I came across these people who said, oh, we'll promote your product for you. We'll email market these people. And this is like 2000, at the time. So I'm like, yeah, that's a great deal. Why don't you email market these people? How much do you charge? And it was some astronomical price. And I'm like, I can't afford this. Like, I'm not this big company. And, so I finally found some people, probably lower end people on the scale at the time. And they're like, oh, we'll do this for $1,000, $2,000. Well, they're like, I'm going to send out, 1 million emails or 100, 500,000 emails. I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. And, all of a sudden the next day, these emails go out, and all of a sudden I have like 50 orders. And I was like, wow, I just made money. And all of a sudden, but the problem with the internet is it's constantly changing. You have to re-evolve yourself every couple of years with a new gimmick or a new product. And the reorders are tough. So unless you have a quality product, who's going to come back and buy it again? So what I learned early on, is what I said later about quality becomes important. But early on, I just learned about guerrilla marketing. People want deals. People didn't care what they were buying. People, if I had my first diet product was Inferno, and it actually was just total garbage. It was a diet. I don't know. It was an ephedra base at the time when it was legal, diet product 30 years ago. But it was just a garbage product. There was no study or research behind it. I don't even know if it worked. I think it did. But I would put, I had a great slogan, melt the fat away. And if you would put, but people, so one bottle was $29, or you can get, 2 bottles at $24 each, or 3 for $59. And everybody wanted to buy the multi-packs. So I learned early on, you could sell everybody, people just to save $5 or $10, even though it's total shit or don't even know what they're buying, will buy just because they're thinking they're getting a good deal, which is still true to today in marketing. And then I said, you know what? People are interested in my diet product, but I go, it's getting expensive if I have to keep, paying someone to advertise my product. So I said, why don't I build an email list for all the people who come to my website, don't buy my product, or my people who are my customers already, because I've sold, 1,000 bottles or whatever at the time. So I started building my own email list, and then there was kind of like the first .com crash in that 2001, 2002 era, from the original .com, from the start of it. It was like the first crash. So I started doing. So then all these email lists became available, and people are like, hey, I got 8 million addresses. You want to buy them? And you'd buy them, and there was these self-sending platforms that you just pay X amount of money a month to send email. So basically, I went from in a 6 month to a year period with my own products at the time, because I really wasn't marketing for other people. This whole business just blows up. I get there, just, I don't know, probably some's luck, probably some's, hopefully I'm semi smart at what I'm doing in marketing, but I go, I'm struggling, working every day of my life in the restaurants, busting my ass to, make peanuts. And also I'm making 50,000 a day on the internet, pure profit. Just no costs, I'm like, it didn't matter what. So then I'm looking for all these products to sell. And I have these cell phones come out at the time. So this is the best one, cell phone boosters, little 5-cent magnetic. It looked like a paper clip shaved in half, like on a sticker that you put on the back of your phone. And it's supposed to be like the cell phone booster to give you a better signal. So this thing cost me 5-10 cents a thing. I was selling in a little, 22-cent stamped envelope at the time, 30 years ago. And it was like one of them went in the envelope. It was $9.99 plus $4.99 shipping and handling. But if you want 2 of them, it's $14.99. So I'll give you 5 of them for $19.99 and $4.99 shipping and handling. So for $25, you got 50 cents worth of these little cell phone stickers. And people put them on their. I don't know if it worked or not. Like I said, I didn't really research my products at the time. And then I had a big one was 9/11 occurred. So I did. I sold American flags. I did the Rocky playing cards were huge for me. I give a bunch of money to the Red Cross, sell the certificate and everything. People called me out for it, and I was like, I did what I said. Red Cross was very happy with me. Nobody else gave them $50,000 that year, to help with the world crises, and I did. I didn't have to. But you have all the haters out there, and you had Google news groups at the time, and all of a sudden the whole spam email, and I'm ruining everybody's world. But I always looked at any publicity, good or bad, it's how you monetize it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, it's how you monetize it. And that's what I did. I got sued. I became the poster child of email marketing, and because I was sending the peak, I don't know, 150, 200 million emails a day. I mean, obviously unique addresses may have been 20, 30 million, but and you're sending 10.
So I'm getting 5 emails from you a day.
Yeah, different products. So we were selling everything. We started, like I said, selling for other people products, my own products. So then, but I still like the diet business. So I said, what is wrong with this product? So I actually came out with a product called Thermalife, and I actually did some research, and I actually paid more money for it. And I said, this is actually a really good product that people will help people. And it was weird. It was Thermalife. I thought it was a cool name at the time, and didn't do anything. And I was like, I don't get it. So I changed the product name. So I had Inferno, which did well. So I changed the product name to Inferno 2. Melt the fat away, and it sold out like hotcakes. And so then I realized, different marketing names, all makes a big difference in, sell through. So one of the big things I did after with the whole internet when I was taking off, and I guess from the sales and the products and everything, it moved into an email. I started my own affiliate company, so I started driving a lot of lead traffic for people, doing like email submits, then driving leads for other products.
Email submits, what's that?
So an email submit is like when you go to a website and it says like get a $500 Walmart gift card or something like that, and you have to enter your email address and ask you a bunch of they're called co-registration. So it asks you a bunch of questions. You answer those questions, and based on your answers, it sends you offers or like let's say a question is, how is your eyesight? It's bad. So they have a lead generation with an eye company, and now the eye company then immediately calls you up and says, hey, I heard your eyes aren't doing too well. Can we help you? Or would you like to come in our store? If it's a national chain, or, are you thinking about getting married? Or, do you have any kids under the age of 2? And you say yes. And now Babies R Us is emailing you. So people are buying these leads through the lead generation. And that's, a huge part of it. And then at the end of it, these pass, they have reward pass. So like to give away, like to get the $500 Walmart gift card, if you make it through the whole path, you may have to take like 10 rewards, like affiliate offers. So like if you do, like, let's say you sign up for a new trial to get a new diet product, that's $9.99 a month. That reward may be worth $50. So it's kind of like, so for taking actions or buying stuff or doing things, it's basically like earning an income, and then that income would go towards the gift card. But I wasn't really running the back ends of those processes. That was through other companies. I was just driving the traffic to them, and then through my affiliate network.
What is it about naming a product that makes a winning product versus a non-winning product?
So it's a huge difference, and it's very interesting, like certain names and brands, but people have trust. So one of the other things I got really big into in like 2007 or 8 was domain names. So to this day, I own just so really nice premium domain names. I own like Broncos.com. I own airline.com, cheddarcheese.com.
Any spicy domains?
Elmo.com. I had skinny.com I sold too early. I've had a lot of domains I've sold way too early, but yeah, nothing real dirty or like when you say spicy like that. But I have I have a lot of first names. I just sold Pete.com. But the names are really powerful, and if you tie a product to a name, I have like garagesales.com. I have this site where everybody can list their garage sales for free. I'm just collecting data. It's pretty automated. I just make AdWord money from it, but it's very interesting. Like think about it like this. I'm gonna have I think this is the perfect example. I'm gonna have a travel business that I'm gonna spend hundreds of millions of dollars branding, and I'm gonna call it Kayak. Have you ever heard of Kayak?
Yes, I know Kayak.
Okay.
But
why would I go to a canoe company?
even
to book
Expedia, like what the heck does Expedia mean?
But why would you go to why would I look up kayak.com to book an airline flight? If I was looking for what's the best, adventures in water maybe or something, it's unrelated. But like airline.com, that name is golden. You want to book airline tickets, you want airline reviews, you want the best air flight information, airline.com is. So like one of my names I own, perfect example. You want to be a business owner, you want to make a lot of money. This is the perfect thing. Warren Buffett, he owns the most jewelry businesses in the country. He's, the largest, mall jewelry owner. I have necklace.com. If you wanted to be the number one retailer in the world for selling necklaces, wouldn't you want necklace.com? If you wanted to go to Saks Fifth Avenue in New York and open, or not Saks, or Fifth Avenue, Saks is on Fifth Avenue, but if you went to Fifth Avenue in New York or the Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, the most expensive real estate in the world, and you wanted to open up the nicest necklace store, how much would that cost you right now? Remodeling, buying a building, renting a building, the costs, how many year to set it all up, hire the staff, do everything there, and then hope people come in and want to buy your necklaces and believe in you because you built this reputation of trust in your name. I mean, you're just talking endless money. Well, you could be in business tomorrow with necklace.com. I have necklace.com. If I want to be the premier necklace guy in the world tomorrow, and I want to source the best necklaces, or maybe I just have the cheapest necklaces in the world. I'm known as the garbage necklace site, but it's necklace.com. People believe in a name. And if it's so much easier to convert a brand. And when you're selling somebody something, if I'm selling you something, or I'm going to sell you a $2,000 gold necklace today, and you're necklace.com, you already have trust and belief in me for the name versus if it's, cheapjewelry.com, or,
But how do you brand how do you brand something that's called necklace.com? We're in the, if I have Band-Aid, they created that. They didn't have bandage.com, right? How do you brand something that's just so generic?
You just, some of it's marketing and advertising. Now it's a different world. Instead of doing ads and email and everything, now it's affiliates and social media.
Sure. So maybe you'd be known as necklace.com.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be known as Necklace.
Yeah, maybe I'd have to go to in Atlanta, Ice or something. Was it Ice who makes all the jewelry for all the Ice marketing or Ice something? I don't know. I can't. I'm horrible with names sometimes, but let's say I go to him and I'm like, let's do necklace.com. We're going to feature all your stuff here, all your celebrities, and all they're going to talk about is necklace.com. That's where you get the best necklaces for.
So when it comes to naming though, why did Inferno 2 work when Thermalife didn't?
I think because it was melt the fat away. I think it was the thing was the psychology of the fire, and then it melt the fat away, and it tied together really well with it. So some of the big things, the next big thing after email for me was ringtones. And the big ads that everyone just died and were crazy online was somebody has a crush on you, what's your IQ score, death calculator wasn't such a popular one, but all those kind of things make people wonder and question stuff. So it's kind of like today with clickbait. If you have a hot chick on the front of your podcast, with barely any clothes on, it's probably gonna get a lot more clicks on that thing. And it's interesting. Like I do a lot of testing, now with my videos and stuff. And what you have to really look at is, I can put up a very misleading title or subject line or thumbnail, and it's going to get a lot more clicks, and it may show more views, but the watch time is, 5 minutes, where let's say my average watch time, which is around 17 minutes now on a video that I get on long form, like on YouTube. But if I have a misleading subject line or title, it may get, like I said, it may get double the traffic that a normal video would get. But what good does it do if I have double the traffic for 5 minutes? I'd rather have my regular traffic for 17 minutes than double the traffic for 5 minutes, because 17, if you have 100,000 views at 17 minutes and you're making, every 5 minutes,
the math pays better.
Yeah, the math pays better. But a lot of people are going for the views, or they're looking online and saying, oh my God, this guy's the real deal. He got 400,000 views on his video, but then he has like 12 comments, and it's just, you could just tell it's fake, or it's, something's wrong. So it's, a lot of that stuff is, but a lot of it's like I said, it's interesting. Like, we used, it's kind of like, you send an email out and says, you just won $1 million. That email got a really good open rate, but what good would that email do if I'm trying to sell you, something, I'm trying to sell you a bottle of diet pills, or, if a subject line says guaranteed, lose 50 pounds in 30 days, that email is going to get a great open rate. But, at some point it's misleading, and it is not true.
We need to speak to the person that we want in the next step.
Yeah.
And that next step speaks to the person we want in the next step.
Yeah.
And we communicate that all the way down, and that's effectively how you create an effective funnel.
Oh, yeah. No, and you just have to remember, too, like when I was doing a lot of this, the funnels really didn't exist yet. And you didn't have Google, and you didn't have this stuff. So the big thing, the whole reason why you would white label stuff, and even like today that you white label stuff, is because, what's the number one thing we all do when we see a product we want? We go to Amazon and see how much it costs. We go to Google, we see how much it costs on Google Shopping, and we know exactly what that product is. But if you brand your own product with your own name, or something that nobody else can price compare it to, we can all price compare vitamin C and know that we can get vitamin C all day long for $3 a bottle for 100 caps right now. But if you have Magic Mike's vitamin C that nobody can price check, and you've come up with your own name, or Inferno vitamin C that is just a hot seller, and I want to charge $100 a bottle for it, and everybody's like, dude, and I get Kim Kardashian, it'd be like, Inferno vitamin C is the thing, and her, all her followers are like, we got to get this thing. You're going to sell, and you're going to sell it at a premium price, and it becomes this premium product, and it's no better than anything else. It's just how the whole marketing works. It's crazy how the whole funnels have changed it all, and then upselling, and now we have vitamin C. Let's get you vitamin B. If you put these three things
the
together,
whole alphabet, the whole alphabet for
you put these three things together, you're going to look like him or her. Now you really want this.
So would you say that's what your strength is marketing?
Yeah, back in the day, that was my big thing. It's interesting now.
Even with your YouTube stuff now, though, like the Big Jackpot, like it's the name, your stuff, like and you're split testing these things. Like you're looking at content creation from a marketing perspective.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, and that's a lot of what I do is like, which games to play, what's going to get the most views. I know they're like the slots I like to play. If I play them, nobody's going to watch me play them, but that's my personal, slot to play. I also know, like, I know certain things not to talk about. I definitely don't want to talk about politics in my, live, if I'm streaming live or in my videos, because it never is going to end well. And, with, trolls and people and what they think about it. But, certain things you want to talk about are, and you try and keep it edgy and fun and stuff. But it's, yeah, I mean, definitely there's certain things that I do. And, sometimes when I'm playing, I act like I can't add, or, a lot of times I like to act like I don't know how to play a game. I've been making YouTube slot videos for 10 plus years now. I know how to play every game that comes out there. I mean, there's new games sometimes, but that's the excitement, because we're like, oh man, no, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you want that. That's how you get the interaction. Like, we're influencers. What drives a video and what makes it do well? The more interaction, the more comments, the more people who talk about it. I have a blackjack video I just put out the other day. Oh man, you didn't hit on 12. I mean, it's endless comments, good or bad about whether I should hit on 12. But if you do that kind of stuff, that's what drives engagement.
Like subtly piss people off. It's almost like low key trolling.
Yeah.
It works really well, right?
Yeah. No,
so people are like, no, you should have done that, or you should have done this.
Yeah, no, everybody is a keyboard warrior. Everybody's an expert. Everybody knows more than you. Yeah, my number one thing in the casino nowadays, I love this. When people come up to me, Raja, you got to play that machine. I'm like, why? Everybody's winning on that machine. Like, you got to play it. That machine is so hot. Everybody wins on that machine. I'm like, why aren't you playing it? I lost all my money. I'm like, well, then why do, and then I go, well, what machine were you playing? Oh, that one over there. Not the one you just told me to play? No, I should have played it. It's just like, I mean, like I said, everybody's an expert when it's not their money. It's not their thing. But no, it's fun. It's like, it's a totally, like, I was always an operation person. I was never the front guy. I was never I never wanted to be the guy in front of the camera and be famous. Like, I was 100% operations. I wanted to make a lot of money. And somebody told me a long time ago, a rich man goes to the bank at night. And it's the best advice somebody ever told me. Like, I don't like, I dress, normal. I don't go crazy.
But now you're knowing, right? Especially out here.
Well, the gambling and stuff. Yeah, no, it's like, I've never, like, it took me a long time. The first few years, like when I had events and, like did my first things, it was like nerve wracking. I mean, it's still nerve wracking. Like if I have 100, 200 people in a room and I have to speak and I'm like, like it's tough. Like, I'm definitely, I'm used to it. I mean, the hardest, I think, thing was, I mean, I get, hundreds of, picture requests a day. I mean, I don't see myself as a celebrity. I just see myself as a normal person. So but I understand, now, these people, a lot of these people watch me 7 days a week, 17 minutes a day average. So I understand. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So I need to, give back and support them. And I want to make them feel good. Like, I love when people come up and they're so excited. I mean, I get people, they're like, I go to bed every night listening to you. I go to bed every night listening to you guys too. But, no, but I was like, it's funny too. Like, and it's kind of like, because like I said, I'm actually a pretty shy person who stays away from the crowds and stuff. But it's funny, like, I'll have wives come up to me or girlfriends. I'm like, hey, my husband's too nervous to come over to you and meet you or take a picture.
It's like a wingman for, to get pictures. So you said the best advice you got, or some of the best advice, was that a rich man goes to the bank at night.
Yeah.
But you're now notable, right?
I'm notable, but I don't ever brag. Like, if you watch my video, even when I just won $1 million, in December of last year, I don't go around bragging. It's not like, look at me. Like, some of these slot guys are trying to, wear expensive things or show off every time a new pair of shoes for $1,000 or, I always learned a long time ago. Anybody who has to tell you how much money they have has none.
Yeah.
And you know what the other, so we're talking about a couple of things that people told me, and something I've kind of changed up in my videos and my views are starting to do really good lately, is somebody said to me, Raja, don't make content that your followers and your viewers want. Make content that the algorithm wants. And that's some of the best things. And you know what? I changed a lot of things. I mean, obviously you want to deliver what your people want, but it's about the algorithm. I mean, it's about getting the views naturally and organically and how to do it. And it's very interesting because, like I always tell people, you have that, group of fans who are like, doesn't matter what you do. You can have the worst podcast interview you've ever done in your life. And they're like, man, that was the best. You got to do more like that, man. When you did that, oh my God, that was just amazing, incredible, and you're like, all right, but you start thinking that mindset of, I got to keep doing that same thing. Well, that's those 10 or 20 of your hardcore, most loyal followers and fans, and that isn't what the masses want. It's kind of like if I put 3 flavors of ice cream in front of you, chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla, and I said pick which one, so everyone who and you pick chocolate ice cream, does everyone who likes strawberry and vanilla be like, dude, that guy's show sucked? It's the same thing. So sometimes you think you're picking the right choice or you're making the right content, but it may be for those select people, but nowadays in social media, it's about making the content that the algorithm wants.
What do they want?
I don't know. That was the other part. I asked a guy, he was 22 years old. I said, well, what do they want? I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm 52. No, I think people want, like you said, like maybe it's a little spice, maybe it's a little bit exciting of a thumbnail or a catchy subject line, but not too misleading. It's that balancing act. It's so weird. I do a lot of these meme airport funny videos now, and they're all getting 3-4 million views or more on it. It's crazy.
I think it's funny. What was the one you just posted? It was like, the guy can't wait or whatever.
Yeah.
You get off the plane and you run into the slot machine.
And it's awesome. So one of my sons is huge on like the
pushing
memes.
the slamming the button.
One of my sons is huge on the memes, and he loves it because he's like, Dad's a meme. Like now everybody copies my memes, and or people like reshare them, they re-edit them. And so this was interesting. So we put out that video the first time on TikTok, or my first one I had done, and I had like 1 million views or like 800,000. I don't know. It did good. And somebody sent it to me, and they go, dude, he stole your video. And I watched it. And my video was like, that guy who can't wait to get off the plane and gamble. And the guy who stole it was like, bro is dedicated. And I have used that now in all these videos. Now, probably everyone watching your podcast is going to make a video that says, bro is dedicated in some way. Every time I take the same videos now that have done nothing and I re-edit them and we'll put bro is dedicated or bro went, and it does 2-3 million views.
In the caption or like as a sticker?
In the caption. It's caption or sticker, both sometimes. I
wonder why.
I'll show you some examples. You could like pop them up on the screen, but it's crazy. I just put out a video 2 months ago. So I had 2 very successful airport videos. I put out a third one. I'm like, it's going to blow up. It's the same funny quality, everything. And I had like 50, 60,000 views. Had decent shares, but just never did anything. And they captioned it. When I told, the people when they were posting, I'm like, yeah, let's use this caption. And they used a different caption, totally different. And we re-edited it and put bro couldn't wait. And it has 1.6 million views in the last 24 hours on Instagram. I mean, it's just so random. I just put up a video of people slapping buttons in a slot tournament, and same thing, 4.4 million views in 3 days. And I didn't even have a bonus. I just Instagram's paying me $400 for some 15-second video that I didn't even spend $1 in content to make.
What's it say? You put bro on it too?
No, that one just says not a cell phone in sight.
Why do you think the bro thing works so well?
I don't know. I've asked people say like it's like a popular meme or it's this or that. I honestly don't know because I don't have that mindset any longer and I don't spend hours a day on social media. I mean, these younger kids who grew up on social media and spend 5-10 hours a day on it, they have a huge advantage of us making content and doing stuff. But it's like my friend, he just started a channel. I helped him film some stuff. Like I know the angles. People like to see that unexpected thing. They want to see that random face, like looking at it or like shock and awe, like something that's totally unexpected, that little twist. But it's hard to tell a big story in under 60 seconds. How do you tell that in obviously Mr. Beast is one of the best, biggest, largest creators in the whole world, but he's telling a story in 5 or 10, 15, 20-minute video, even with tops, lots of turns and things. But for the shorts and reels, you have to tell this big story in 15 seconds, 30 seconds and make people want to keep watching it over and over. And the other interesting thing is how many people on those shorts and reels that take off have watched them. Like your average view time or people who rewatch it is like 80%. It's crazy, how many people rewatch it.
Now, with that being said, how do you see like long form versus short form fit into your world?
So I've adapted to the short form, and I think it's great for my ego if I want to have an ego and be like, man, I got a video with 5 million views. This is awesome. Like, who in the hell would ever watch my shit for 5 million views? But I think the short form and the TikTok and all that has destroyed the creator economy because, the truth be told, if I make a long form video that's, if I make a slot video that's 25 minutes long and you watch it for 17 minutes and it gets 1 million views, I'm going to make $10,000 to $15,000. If I make a slot video that's 1 minute long and that costs me the same amount of money, trying to risk, 10 spins at $1,000 each and cut it down to a minute and I lose and I don't make any, I have the video cost and everything. And even if that video gets 5 million views, a good short or a reel, your best day is, $80 to $100 for 1 million views. So 5 million views of a short video is $500. A million views of a long form video is $15,000, $10 to $15,000. So the money is not there. So the shorts and the reels, I think, are good for branding, driving traffic. But the other thing I've noticed is when you drive a lot of that traffic, like I said, it's exciting because you see that traffic. But those users who are into that 15-second to minute video, those users don't watch. They're not going to watch for 17 minutes. It's just a totally different user.
Now, when you had that big jackpot, so fitting, right?
Yeah.
What do you like? I'm imagining Scrooge McDuck. Like you're just sitting at home, sitting on a pile of cash. You're carrying it out in garbage bags. What was the reality of that?
When I won the million, you mean?
Yeah.
I took a check. I said, give me a check. I'm taking it home. I took 81,000 in cash, and I said, give me a check for the million, so I don't blow it.
Why 81,000 in cash?
Well, it was $1,081,000. So I said, I just wanted $1 million check to take home.
Have you ever had $1 million check like that before?
I actually have, yeah.
Well, why didn't someone who
not from slots?
Why didn't someone who needed that money get it? Why did you go to the guy who doesn't need it?
Yeah, but it goes to the guy who, I don't know. Karma's good. I don't know. You do enough good things in life.
So what? You're just sitting there, and is the whole casino like coming looking at you? What happened after?
Yeah, it was crazy. One I wasn't expecting. I mean, if you said to me in a million years you're gonna hit $1 million, I would never It's like 1 a.m. I'd actually I just went to see at the Spear U2 show, and we're just playing. I'm just kind of hanging out playing, but I always record it. Like no matter what. I mean, sometimes I don't, but usually. I was live streaming them, and I always just so I have extra, video of it. So just miraculously,
you didn't record that.
Oh yeah, I would pull my phone out really quick when I got close to it. But yeah, it would have been the same. But yeah, and then, and I got some other people who were in the crowd were recording it too. Then, so I think he sent me their video. But yeah, I mean, it's you're just not expecting it. But I knew from playing that game, the game's been out for 5-6 years, not the $1 million version, but the game. If the orb starts to show, you're supposed to get the grand. So, I mean, I've gotten 14 out of the 15 orbs, 1,000 times. It's very easy to get that, nobody, big deal. But it started flashing in there. And I was like, oh my God, we may have the $1 million.
Like as it's coming, it's kind of
flashes. So normally on the Dragon League game, if you have 14 of the 15 and you're spinning you get 3 tries every time you get another one. It shows there's nothing.
Let's say I have 10, right?
Yeah.
Another one's coming. Will that new one flash?
Yeah, it'll start flashing.
So anyone that's going to come in starts flashing a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like you'll see, they'll start showing, teasing you.
So it's coming.
Well, I have seen people have said they've seen. People have said they've seen it where it didn't come, or they saw it and it didn't show up. But I was like, it was showing a lot. Normally it doesn't even show. It just makes noise like da 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 da, and then nothing. But it started showing. I saw it and I was like. I was, and from doing this so long,
you're double checking it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I think this is it's showing it. I'm and then it did a sec, so you get 3 tries. So I did it again, and I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me! I'm like, how many? And then the third spin is like, da 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 da, boom! I'm like, I mean, just, I mean, you can't even explain it. Like you said, it's not, it was just so, unexpected, and just. I mean, also I've been trying for so many years. I spent $250,000 on my birthday 3 years ago doing $5,000 spins my biggest jackpot since 2018 was $100,000 jackpot. I've been trying to beat that jackpot. I mean, think about I don't know. I'm in a casino 75, 100 days of the year. And I'm spending playthrough and slot machines. I don't know, $15-20 million a year in coin in. And that's probably low actually, because I do $1 million a trip on. So I don't know, $40 million, $50 million a year in coin in or more. And my biggest jackpot was $100,000. I mean, I have a lot of jackpots for 30, 40, 50,000, but I'm betting, $250,000, $500,000 a spin. And I mean, it's nice to win that. But I tell people, I mean, you win $50,000 at, and you're betting $250, that's 200 spins later and it's gone. I mean, it's not. It sounds like, it sounds like a lot, but it's not. It goes quick when you're betting, big amounts of money. But yeah, no, just total shock.
And was everyone celebrating with you, or did anyone try to
Yeah, no,
I was playing that game.
Nah, one of my friends was with me who I've known for a long time because I took her to see the U2 show. So she was excited, but she doesn't really play slots. I don't even know if she understood what happened. She was. So the funny thing, this is even funnier. So I sent the picture, then I was so excited. Think about it like this. I mean, I hit jackpots all the time. I don't send my friends any pictures because they're gonna be like, dude, why would you do 12,000? That's great. Hey, we're so happy for you, Raja, but why would you send me this picture? So I sent some people the pic. I sent it's $1 million picture, but on the top where it shows how much the orbs were, it was like 21,000. They didn't really read the bottom. So a lot of my friends were like, most of my friends didn't know I hit them. They were just like, oh, dude, you hit a 21,000. That's cool.
Nice, man. So, what do you do with the money? Do you go out and have a good night, or?
Yeah, I gave. So actually, one of the things right here in Las Vegas, some friends with Magic Murray who has a show, and he does a lot with the animal shelters out here. So I asked him. I said, Murray, send me 5 to 10 animal shelters that you do volunteer work for and like here in town. So I sent a bunch of them $1,000, $2,000 each. So that was one of the things. Then one of my mods who's been with me since the beginning, great guy. He's military veteran, disabled military veteran. I said, what are the some of your best 5 or 10 organizations so I sent all of them $1,000, $2,000 each. So I give a lot to charity. I don't know, probably I give a lot to charity anyways all the time. So give a lot to charity. Gave some employees a little extra money for the holidays. I just I did what I thought was right. And it's like I said, I'm fortunate enough that I have money. Like I didn't need to, like, my life honestly didn't change. I mean, it's super exciting. My life changed from being the only influencer ever to get $1 million live and capture it. But my life didn't change. It wasn't like I can now pay my house off. I'll pay my cars off. My kids can go to college. I was already financially, in a good situation.
Do you have to be betting a certain amount to hit that million?
So the $1 million machine, the minimum bet to hit it is $25. And 70% of them have hit at $25 or more, or $25. I was betting $250 at the time.
So you didn't necessarily get more because you bet more.
No. So, I think you probably have better odds to hit. You have better odds if you're betting more to hit bigger, like, size orbs. So the max orb on that game is 250 times your bet. So if you're betting, like, if
so
you're
the
betting
21,000 you won was because of the 250 bets.
Yeah. So the 21,000 was the 250 bet, where a lot of times if you bet $25, you're going to have a bunch of like $25, $50, maybe up to like $2,500 orbs, or whatever, 250 times $25.
You had like a 12,500 on that one.
Yeah. So that was actually low. So at 250, I think I could have had up to 62.5 would have been at 250 times that bet.
Do you know how many times $1 million has been won on a slot machine?
I think since these games have been introduced now, it's a little less than 100 times so far.
Wow.
When I had hit it, it was about 60 or 70 times.
You got 1 to 2% of the $1 million jackpots.
Yeah.
What's the casino do when that happens? Are there like certain things they have to go verify? Like, hey, you make sure you hit the button in a specific way.
Yeah. No. I mean, they obviously watch surveillance. Make sure I'm the one who pushed the button. Taxes.
You didn't like go bully some guy that really hit it.
No. And yeah, I mean, they verify. It took them about an hour to get me paid out. They did offer me cash if I wanted the whole thing in cash, but I said no.
That would have been crazy.
It's a headache. I don't want to deal. And also for security, I really don't like to carry any cash on me. I mean, maybe I have in my wallet, $50 or I need a tip and stuff. But I don't like the amount of money that I'm playing and stuff. Like some of these guys who are online bragging about how much cash they have and walking around with it or showing it. I mean, why don't you just put a target on your back? And a lot of people don't a lot of people don't know, but casinos have, casino credit. You open up a line of credit. You take money off your credit. You're done playing. You put it back on your credit. You win money. They cut you a check or they'll wire it to you. You lose money. You give them a check, and you don't have to carry any of this around. Plus, it's a lot of work, like stuffing a machine. I mean, if I had $1 million and I wanted to keep playing, I had to keep putting $100 in at a time into a slot machine. It would take forever. So they give Tito's, which is ticket in, ticket out. Like when I play, you go to your line of credit, give me $20,000, give me 10 tickets for $2,000 each. It's so easy and simple. But yeah, I mean, I like I said, I try and be very safe in what I do, and I don't want to be that target. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to have a good time, put on a show for people, give them this enjoyment, satisfaction, and the biggest thing too is that my audience and the people who really like watching me is people who have had cancer, people going through radiation, like their treatments. Like it's amazing how many people told me during COVID how I saved their lives, and just they enjoy the excitement. I do have most of the people say they love living vicariously through me, and that by watching me, they don't go gamble. And then I have the other people who say they watch me and they, of course, ran to the casino and want to know if I'm going to loan them money. And it's my fault that they just lost. But I always tell people, gamble responsibly and never take to the casino anything that you do not want to lose.
So are you just like royalty at all the casinos now? You walk in and they're like rubbing your feet and putting you up in the suites.
So I mean, definitely get nice rooms. I mean, most of the casinos I'm pretty well known at. I don't have any casino that definitely doesn't want me back. I'm well known as just a good player for any casino. I'm considered what they would consider a whale, which is a high net worth player. But yeah, I mean, definitely now, like a lot of the casinos, the fans, they're, hey, is Raja here today? Is he playing? Was he here yet? Or is he coming? And a lot of people don't realize, like, we obviously tape content in advance, but a lot of people want to go see, it's just like, if you watch a movie and you see some, famous piece in it, or
Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like, walking in and seeing that.
but people want to go see where the Raja just played, or Venetian or Plaza side. I know a lot of people go there, they send me pictures. They just, taking a picture with the $1 million machine I hit on.
Oh, that's cool. So then at that point, are they cool with your filming and all that stuff?
Yeah. So, I was one of the early pioneers of that. So back in the day, this was very hard to get approval to film. And basically, I was very lucky to get approval to film because of the size of my betting. But very hard to do. And the casinos were very against it because they didn't want to have, security risks, showing, employees, different things. But the world's changed. 10 years ago, nobody wanted to be on camera. Now everybody wants to be a celebrity. Now the blackjack dealers making videos and the slot attendants, they want to be in my videos because all their friends watch or they're fans and they watch. But originally there wasn't a lot of fans, and you have some. And I think the biggest concern for the casino in all this, and still they don't want me just to show random people I don't know. But the biggest current concern in the casino is, you have a guy who's a good player in your casino, but he's there with his mistress and not his wife, and she all of a sudden, like, hey, was that you on camera? And who's that with you? Or somebody sees you on camera, and you haven't paid your employees in 2 weeks, and you're at the casino gambling all your money away, and all of a sudden they're like, who is that? Or what are you at the casino
Security
for?
risk for their patrons.
Well, yeah. So I mean, that's the thing, but it's the same thing. I mean, if you could you can come to Vegas, take your mistress to a Raiders game, and be seen on the kiss cam randomly if they pick you. So I mean, anything's possible. If you're gonna do something you shouldn't be doing, maybe you shouldn't do it anywhere in public. But I mean, that's the main reason. But I opened the doors for a lot of these influencers for, like, especially the Indian reservations. They were very strict to get into. I was the first person to ever get streaming approved for the Seminole Hard Rocks in Florida. Foxwood, Connecticut, all the Colorado casinos, a lot of the casinos here in Vegas never had it. A lot of Indian reservations in Oklahoma. It was, definitely a lot of hurdles to go through and stuff.
And now, like, anyone can film in a casino.
A lot of casinos still don't allow it, but a lot more are open to it, or they have an approval process. So some have, like MGM, if you want to film, you have to sign a approval process. Every quarter they want to approve you. If you want to film all casinos have different rules and requirements. Some, like the Rio, anybody wants to go to the Rio right now and film, walk right in. We're happy to have you. Kind of Resort World is now like that.
They need all the help they can get, I think, the Rio, right?
Yeah. So I think it's actually a good turnaround. The guy who used to run the slots, who was one of the first people here in Kevin Sweet, was one of the first people here in Las Vegas who started allowing at the Cosmo. That's why a lot of us all went to the Cosmo in the beginning, because he embraced it and got it, and he allowed it, and he's now moved over since the Cosmo sold. He moved over to the Rio, and
they renovated a bunch of their stuff too.
They're starting to renovate. They got some new restaurants, a new food court that was nice. They actually they have really nice room. I think they're going to renovate them, but they're decent. They have like these huge mansions in the back that are like 12,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms. Just crazy where they put me, to check it out and stuff. But I don't think today the Rio is where it needs to be, but I think 2 or 3 years from now, and Kevin's a smart guy in marketing, and like I said, embrace, like, people want this. People want to come see these influencers. Yeah. People want to, we're giving this casino a free show that they're not paying for,
Yeah, all the free attention, which they'd otherwise pay, $10, $20 per 1,000 views. So,
oh yeah.
You're spending, you just said about $40 million per year into these machines. Mm-hmm. Gosh, you must be losing a crap load of money.
Well, when I say, excuse me, so
coin in.
Yeah, so coin in. So, and let's say on average, most machines, are set to like 7-8%. So, I mean, if you have 40 million coin in, that's going to be like a $4 or $5 million in loss. But I try and average about $150,000 a month in slot play is what unless
expenses.
I'm doing it to put into it. Yeah, I try and put about 20 to 25-30% of what my slot company part brings into the slot play.
So when you say that's like, this can be lost, or is this like?
Yeah, that's my cost of doing business. That's my content cost of production.
Okay, and you're expecting that to just, if you win, cool. If not, whatever.
Yeah, I mean the only time where I do larger stuff is like if I'm like my birthday, where I'm doing like the $250,000, $5,000 spins, or I'm doing something really epic. Then I'll put in more money at the time.
What's been your most viral piece of content?
So those airport ones have done really well, like for the shorts, the airline, airport, also like some of these get off my machine funny skits have done well. Also just some of me just showing, the $1 million, actually like overall video. A lot of my group pool videos have done it like 3-4 million views long form, where it's like me and 50, 100 other people who all put in $100, $200 each. And we have like a 100 spins at $100 each. Those have been popular. It's just random. Also, certain games do better than other games that are, if you're playing one of the more popular games at the current time.
Okay. What's popular right now?
So the popular one's still like the Dragon Link, but Huff and Even More Puff is really popular. It's the third version of the Huff and Puff series. But people like all the games with like multiple pots, multiple things that you can win different stuff at a time.
Do you think the reason this content relates so well is because it's literally like built to suck you in?
I think some of it has really good draws. It's interesting because you have two kinds of machines and two kinds of programming now. You have ones that are very volatile. So you can bet very little money, like, 50 cents a dollar, and you have a grand prize of $10, $15, $20,000. So people kind of like playing lotto tickets. People who don't have a lot of money can go to the casino and they have this chance to win a lot of money. And then I think you also have lower volatility machines, where they're going to hit more frequently and more often. So you feel that you're getting a good value. You're still going to lose. But instead of trying to win a prize that's $10 or $15,000, if you're betting $1, you're going to get a lot of $10, $20, $50 stuff. And it just keeps you playing, so you feel, more into it and stuff. I think that's going to suck you in better than, So you have two kinds of slot machines in play right now.
I feel like anytime, like I don't really gamble, and I think that's one of the benefits of living in Vegas is if you don't gamble, you're kind of benefiting from that whole economy. Yeah, and that's part of the reason we don't have state taxes here, and all the other stuff, which I'm super grateful for. But when I do, I'm, out with some friends. They go to the restrooms. I sit at the casino, the slot there, and I throw $20 in. It's gone after 2 hits. Yeah. I don't understand how people can, especially people who don't have money. Like for me, even if I put $200 in, I feel like it'd be gone in 2 minutes.
And I see that all the time. I mean, if you don't have the money, you definitely shouldn't play. And the worst thing, and this is why the casinos have a huge problem right now. This is why Vegas has a huge problem. This is why you're going to see, casinos closing or, having to change their whole business model because they need us and influencers to bring people back. These slot machines, young kids don't have the money, 21-year-olds don't have the money to play like these older 40 or 50-year-olds did back in the day or in the way the machines work. And the worst thing that happens is a person who doesn't have basically 1 out of 100 people who ever go to a casino at a young age is never going to go gamble again. It's that 1% who puts in, their $20 and all of a sudden hits that $10,000 and changes their life at 21 and is stuck gambling the rest of their life and loses everything because they always think that they're going to get that big win again. But most people, I have twins. If they go to the casino and they lose, they have no interest to gamble. They're like, why would I go waste? I just put $100 and got nothing. Why would I waste time in doing this? This is dumb. There's no fun in that,
Right.
But they'll go buy cryptocurrency and watch it go up and down all day long, or some NFT, which is probably just 10 times worse odds than the slot machine winning. But yeah, I mean, it's that's why your age demographic of a slot player now is like 45 and over.
Like these old people sitting there like smoking with curly hair and like hitting the thing.
Bunny, yeah.
It honestly looks kind of lifeless. Like it's not something that looks fun. The way you play looks fun.
I think it's fun for the wins, and I think like a lot of the younger kids now who are jumping on the sports betting and the blackjack and the table games. I think a lot of young people too are afraid to play blackjack or walk up to a table game in a casino.
Yeah, because you don't know how, right?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of getting more open and getting more traction and stuff. But the slot, like I said, the slots are one of those things you have to take that. Somebody has to go play it and win. If you win the first time playing slots, you're going to be hooked the rest of your life. If you go lose $100, $200 playing slots the first time, it's a waste.
It's like if you were doing drugs and the first time you did drugs, you got like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You're going to chase that forever.
Yeah.
Right. So with that being said, there's like these other people, you're very transparent about your wins, your losses. Mm-hmm. There's what's his name? He does the thumb thing.
D Lucky.
Yeah, D Lucky. Yeah. And what's the deal with this guy?
When the thumb goes up, it means you're hitchching home because you lost all your money at the casino.
What does he say it is? He goes, when the thumb goes up, it's just like
that. Yeah. You know what? I give D Lucky credit. He's a very, very smart marketer. Guy, when he first came on the scene, he went to everybody's live streams on TikTok and everything, and every day he'd spend $500,000 sending everybody TikTok, stars and to get branded. Then he's ran ads at the airport. He ran ads in Hawaii, so he's targeting all the what's
Polynesian
people and stuff. Who I don't know why that was his target, or because he's Asian, but it was smart. I know he scrapped his first Instagram account, so he actually sold his business, I think, for like $12 or $13 million. His first business that he sold and made all his money in was selling Instagram followers. So that was his actual, business. But smart marketer doesn't show his, doesn't want to show his face, and makes the mystery of the thumb, and he did a good job. I think the only thing that he really failed on, and that he should have done, was show every once in a while, just show somebody losing, because he only shows winning videos. And he changed his his disclaimer on his site when you sign up to do his services. He used to just meet me here, pay me this, and you're on TV or on my video. But now it says basically you're going to lose. Like 1 in 100 people could win, or maybe 10, whatever it is. But I still think he leaves himself open for a lot of lawsuits or a class action suit or problems, because it's not someone's going to say, if 100 people get together and say we all gave this guy $1,500 for the D Lucky experience and we all lost, he's going to get sued and lose. And he'll say, well, I have a disclaimer. They all agreed that this was high risk and that they probably wouldn't win. But if the only thing that you advertise and show to every single person for 3 years straight is a winning session, I would say, I agree. I signed this, but nobody's ever lost. How could the 100 of us be the first people to have ever lost and no one's seen these videos,
I think the perception, right, is like, oh, he's got some kind of insider secret.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he leans into, right?
No, the perception is, if you have 10 suckers every day who pay you $1,500 and come and meet you with $5,000, 2 of those suckers are going to win a jackpot, and you're going to have content. And then you have 13 other people who just lost $100,000 in the machine that everybody else gets to benefit from.
Yeah, of course. And he's making his money off that thing, though, but they think they're going to win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's true.
They're not paying the $2,000 to meet him.
I've had friends who hit me up and they're like, dude, have you seen this guy? I signed up for a scene. I'm like, are you just an idiot? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why don't you come to me? Give me $1,500. I'll tell you what machine to play and sit there with you. Come on, one more time. Let's do another 1,000. One more thing. I think if you put enough money into a machine, it's gonna. I always say in my live stream, I'm buying a jackpot. I have this thing of like every live stream I've been doing for 10 years, I always hit a jackpot in. It's buying a jackpot. I mean, if I put $10,000 into a machine, I'm going to win $1,200 out of it at some point.
So how are you monetizing this whole ecosystem?
So I have a couple of things. I have obviously Facebook, YouTube. Those are big revenue and stuff for me. But I also was one of the first people, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. I started my own slot app. So I have an in-app purchase slot app that does really well.
How many downloads?
I don't know, probably 500,000 now. So, I mean, it's pretty big. Like on the store, I have like almost 5.0 ranking, but that does really well for me. And, every day people just play, and we have tournaments, giveaways, all sorts of stuff. So it does really well. I also have a online casino affiliate deal for people outside the USA that I send people to, that does really well, that I launched during COVID and just blew up. And I also have endorsement deals. Like that's the biggest one that shocks me. Like people use me as the influencer. Like they're coming to me and, paying me $50,000 a month to advertise their products or do something. It's crazy. I'm like, okay.
You've always been this hub of just like everything you touch turns to gold. But there was kind of a period in time when you're like the spam king, getting hit with all these lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah.
You got Washington State hit you with a $500 million suit, right? You had Microsoft suing you, this company called MySpace, which doesn't even exist anymore.
And New York AG. The best one is the New York AG. I remember the New York Elliot Spitzer, and then this son of a bitch got busted for having a prostitution or something.
What did they hit you with?
New York and Microsoft sued me together when they did the lawsuit. So I've been sued by 3 AGs: New York, Florida, and Texas. The ringtones were New York and Texas were ringtone related. New York was email marketing with Microsoft, joint thing. And then MySpace was an individual lawsuit. So I paid out over like $20 million in fines for lawsuits and survived. I remember when I got sued. This is funny. So I remember when I got sued. And this is why you said it's how you monetize it and how you deal with stress and this stuff. So I played hockey my whole life.
Ice hockey?
Yeah.
Nice.
So since I was 5, and then I did roller hockey and everything. So when it's like 2003 when New York AG and Microsoft sued me. Although I had every news like 3-4 news trucks in front of my office, and they all wanted interviews. And the one guy, the reporters, and the one guy, and he came and he said, he goes, "Hey, can I get an interview with you?" I go, "I got a hockey game then." He goes, "You're gonna go play hockey?" I go, "Yeah, why would I not play?" He goes, "You just got sued for like $50 million and you're gonna play hockey?" I go, "Yeah, Like my world's not going to stop. I'm going to keep making money. I'm going to move forward. Like, I'm not going to stop. Like, that's the worst thing people do. They get sued or something bad happens and they just shut down. And then they sit there and then they feel sorry for themselves and then they stop making money. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep making, $50,000, $100,000 a day, and I'll fight my lawsuits and I'll pay my fines. And, my peak business year, I was in the Inc. 500, fastest growing businesses and everything. My peak year, I did $108 million, and made $30 million. I mean, like, you just have to, you can't have that mindset to shut down. And you can't, you have to, and I think from business, I've always been a gambler. I've always taken risk. I've always, I don't want to do something that's going to put me in jail, but I have no problem, skating the lines of terms of service. It's a business decision. If you can make $20 million and they're going to sue me for $7 million this year, is it worth it? Maybe, today I probably wouldn't take that risk, but back, maybe I don't do the headache, but I mean, there's always a magic number that everybody has as, risk adverse, as long as it's not criminal.
So you didn't care about the lawsuits. It was like, you're like, oh, whatever.
It was the cost of doing business. It was the cost of goods.
Oh, wow. So what was the first big lawsuit that hit?
I mean, the first big one was the Microsoft New York AG in 2003.
And how much did they sue you for?
That was $50 million.
And you obviously settled.
Yeah. So we settled with the New York AG within like a month or two for $50,000. That was a piece of cake. But Microsoft was the one who just wanted to set this, they wanted me to be the poster child and set an example. And
as in, don't do this. This is what will happen to you.
Yeah, before they can spam. And originally it was like a $50 million, but then they tried to say, based on all their emails, it's $200 million. We couldn't get them to negotiate. They were just really, really difficult. They didn't care. It was like, it didn't matter what we did. So I actually had to, my company was very lucrative, doing great, had zero debt. But, they're asking for $50 million. In 2003, I did not have $50 million in cash or, whatever they were asking for. So we actually had to file for bankruptcy, go to bankruptcy court to settle it because we couldn't negotiate with them. So then finally in bankruptcy court, we, negotiated and settled for the $7 million because I only have what I have, if I lose, I'm going to be bankrupt anyway. If you actually, and why, even the $7 million, I had, $2-3 million in attorney bills over the years, dealing with all this stuff, the lawsuits. So it was basically a strategy move.
Okay. And can they then try to come after you personally?
They did try and come after me personally at the time and stuff, but it's like the bankruptcy protects you personally. I mean,
so you filed for personal bankruptcy?
We filed the company in personal bank. I don't know if I did personally. Maybe it was just a business at the time. I mean, it's 22 years ago, so I don't remember perfectly, but we filed for bankruptcy to force them to come to the negotiation table. Because in bankruptcy, you list all your assets. So here's my assets. I'm worth $20 million. You're asking for 50. So are we going to settle and you're going to get some money and this is done, or are we going? Do you want to get a judgment for $50 million and then I file for bankruptcy and you still get the same amount of money? Or I change names or I move to Turkey.
So you weren't stressed during this time?
It wasn't enjoyable. I mean, you don't want to just throw away, cut a check for $7 million, but it was a cost of doing business. I've always looked at money. Like, I've always had the knack that I could always make money. So I don't live my life and my emotions by money. A lot of people live their life and their day by emotions and money. And I've never been like that.
So it sounds like in hindsight, you still would have done what you did.
Oh yeah. Sure. In hindsight, there's a few things I would have changed. Maybe I wouldn't have sold some property too soon. I wouldn't have sold a few domains too soon. I would have kept my Dell computer stock a few extra years from 2007 to 12.
But you still would have done all the email.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
What do you think the modern version of that is? That like, can you do something like that in today's age with text messaging,
Discord chat, all the what's the chat platform? All the spam you get like on
Telegram,
like Telegram, and what's the other one that my Facebook owns?
WhatsApp,
yeah, like the WhatsApp spam, and join all these cryptocurrency spam groups. I mean, that's the modern day version of it.
Okay, it probably doesn't perform as well.
No, do you ever get like these random text messages? Hey, call me. Oh, hey, you left your clothes here, and your girlfriend sees it and gets you in a divorce. And you're just like, wife.
That's what happened to you. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but you see all that stuff, and then you're like, but yeah, it's like but then you text those people back, and they're like, oh, wrong number. Oh, but hey, are you lonely? You're like, what? Nah, it's just all chat bots and stuff. And
it sounds like you fell for that a few times.
No, I haven't.
If you didn't do email marketing, what do you think your life would have been?
I mean, probably if I didn't stumble on the whole internet, it probably just would have been more hospitality. and stuff. And I still have, some restaurants and bars and stuff that I'm part of.
That you still own?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Anything else to share, man? This has been super fascinating, and you're such an interesting guy.
No, just like, I think the number one thing is, if you're young, starting out in business and you want to make it, don't give up. Like, there's no shame in failing. Obviously don't risk everything to try and make it. Give it your 100% your best, but if you fail, it doesn't mean it's over with. Come back again. You can still do it. There's always second and third chances in business to make it work. Not all ideas are genius ideas. Run ideas by friends, people. I always tell people I have 100 ideas a day to make $100, but I can't run 100. I can't do 100 new businesses every day to make $100. I'm looking for the next deal that's going to make me $1 million, $2 million a month, or $20 million a year, or something crazy, or something really big. If I'm going to go all in and put in 18 hours a day. Also, don't be afraid of work. I see all these young kids. They don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. They're on their phones all day. They're just, just a totally different world. Go get your feet dirty. It's okay to, work. It's okay. I was working for $3.85 an hour, doing 60 hours a week when I was 15 at Taco Bell, working. I was so, I put in my, put in your time. These kids people nowadays don't want to put in the time and the hard work. They just, want it handed to them.
What do you think that opportunity is for someone who's just starting out today? Like, how can they start a business or start earning more money?
It's interesting. Like, one of my sons, he's selling. We're proud of him. He's selling online and doing stuff, and he does it on his own. I give him some pointers, but he could come into the family business and have it a cakewalk. But he wants to do it on his own. He wants to be successful, and he's testing 5 or 10 different products a week, to do drop shipping with, and seeing which one sticks. He had one that was doing really well, but the customer service complaints were too high and the chargeback. So it's just finding that balance, but you've got to put in that time. He's up until 3, 4 in the morning. It's the same thing I did when I first hit that send button and I saw this money start rolling in. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. I was sitting at that computer, 18 hours a day, hitting send and coming up with new, products to sell and source stuff and doing all this. It's just, you can't slow down. You have to be motivated, and stuff. And like you said, I think a lot of these young kids just lack that motivation nowadays. I think, especially since COVID, it's just changed the way everybody does stuff.
Thanks for coming on. How can people connect with you? And
thanks for having me and stuff. And the best way is all my stuff everywhere is the Big Jackpot, 3 words. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Clapper, TikTok.
Clapper. That should not be a real name for an app.
You know what? This is funny. I have more growth than anywhere on Clapper. I don't know if it's real views or what. I've been live a few times. I got up to 700 people with 60,000 followers. But
what do you call your fans on there? Your claps, or
just hey,
don't get the claps?
Nah, the Rajaholics. But that's everywhere. But yeah, no, I'm pretty much on every social, Pinterest, any social media platform out there. Just the Big Jackpot. But Instagram, X.
Before you jump off, I got one last thing for you.
Yeah.
Previous guest left a question for you in this book.
Oh.
And so you're going to answer it, and then you're going to leave a question for the next guest.
Oh, okay.
They didn't know who you were, and you won't know who they are. So
great.
Let me go ahead and see what that was.
Is it unlocked? Oh.
Yeah, we'll hit the unlock button. Actually, I think I have a specific question that I'm going to have you answer. If I can if the name is on here. All right. What would you do if you knew you could not fail?
What would you do if you knew you could not fail?
Yeah, it's by a guy named Vegas Matt.
That seems like a setup question. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? So that's like a. I mean, I guess I would probably do something. Yeah, I'd probably do something financially related that would make a lot of money.
Something you haven't done yet that you know deep down you would do if you knew you couldn't fail.
Go play pro ice hockey.
For what team?
Colorado Avalanche.
That was my favorite team growing up. Joe Sakic, yeah.
Yeah,
huge, the Quebec Nordiques. I'm Canadian, so
okay, yeah.
And then I have half my hockey cards are Joe Sakic and
nice.
Patrick Waugh, and that was my childhood growing up.
Yeah, no, I was there. I was there when they won the cups. I was actually this last year. Actually, this is an exciting year. So in the last year, the Nuggets won. So I was at that game. The next day, I flew to Las Vegas. I was at the game when the Knights won, and then I came to the Super Bowl. So I saw 3 championships this year.
Wow.
in a year's time.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks for having me.